Welcome. We're going to start this out like we always do and say, man, can't believe this is episode 29. Can't believe we've been
we're not going to say that
doing this for 29 weeks.
Yeah. 29.
Welcome to the American Craftsman Podcast, episode 29. We're
I think
Rob
we're just
and Jeff.
dumbfounded that we've got this thing going, and
they haven't kicked us off the air yet.
Yeah. Is there an internet police?
The FCC.
To just get rid of like stuff that's no good?
No, there's plenty of it out there. Just scroll around Instagram for a little while.
There's no quality control management.
No, I wish there was.
I don't know. They might be screening us off.
Yeah. Well, we're here again. Wednesday in the shop.
Yeah.
Starting the podcast off, as we always do, with the beer of the week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because we got some hype coming.
And what do we have here under the glasses?
Yeah, check this out. I mean, this is some of the best stuff as far as doing the podcast, and
it's not going to focus very well, but
yeah, you could probably see better. The community and the friends we've made, long distance friends from all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah. So Alec, who's one of our Patreon patrons and a buddy of ours on Instagram and everything, he just got a laser engraver. Mm-hmm. So we sent over some coasters with the logo.
And for those that were just listening, we were holding up these really cool round cork coasters.
Yeah.
With the podcast logo laser engraved into them.
Yeah. If you're interested in one of the glasses, we still have some left. The American Craftsman Podcast beer glass.
Yeah. We've been giving them out as like parting gifts to our guests.
Yeah. So you can head over to the website. Got those for $9.99, $10 or something we're selling them for.
Yeah, that's basically cost plus the shipping and everything.
Right. So yeah, if you want to drink along while you listen to the podcast, you can grab your own glass. They're those sort of can shaped glasses.
Yeah, it's a nice
cool.
big 16-ouncer.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm parched.
Yeah. Working up a thirst already. All right. I'm going to crack it open and pour it in. Oh, I like the name already.
So this is a beer from Icarus Brewing, local brewery. We've had, I'm looking at the ABV on this now. We've had this beers from them once or twice before. This is called Milkshaking It. Heavily wheated and oated Northeast Imperial India Pale Ale with lactose and vanilla beans. Copiously dry hopped with experimental 09326 Columbus and Lupulin Citra conditioned on Madagascar vanilla beans.
That's a mouthful.
8.1% ABV by volume. Icarus Brewing, brewed and canned in Lakewood, New Jersey. Ooh, it's got a nice color to it.
Yeah.
Certainly smells nice.
That's a 16-ounce can just getting into the glass. Wow. That's distinctive.
I'm going to have to let that set a little bit.
Yeah, I had to finish it off.
Cheers. Cheers to you guys. Not bad.
Wow.
You can taste that 8.1%.
Yeah, and it's definitely a distinctive flavor. There's a lot going on there.
I can taste the lactose. Anywho, we won't get too deep into the beer. We'll say that to the end if we can remember what the hell it tasted like by that point.
Yeah.
What do you got for tool of the week?
Well, the tool of the week is my 16-foot Tajima tape. And the reason I brought out all these other tapes, I have my, how do you say this, stall wheel?
Yeah.
That was in the apron there for a while, made in Germany. I had the half metric. I also have the Tajima. This is just a little 6-footer. It's almost a toy. Jeff and I both tried this Comalon.
Sucked.
Yeah. This Milwaukee tape is pretty good. This is, I found, if I was like making the deck or something like that,
Yeah.
this is all right.
The blade on that's massively wide.
Yeah. And this was really my old standby, this steel cased Stanley 12-footer. I mean, because the weight of this is more than this and this put together.
Yeah.
And this one, as you can see, we're a little bit have a little nerd thing going with the tapes.
Just a little bit.
This is just a partial. There's probably another 10 tapes in the shop.
Oh, yeah.
10 different tapes laying around here. But this is the one that's back in the apron. It was in the apron. I tried all these others. I mean, except for the Stanley. That was an oldie. It's just the tape is really wearing out on that. It's not as accurate either. Mm-hmm. You know, it's important when you're working with more than one guy in a shop that your tapes read the same.
Yeah.
we ran into that with another guy. Mm-hmm. But I love this tape. Is one of the things I like about it is it's really easy to read.
Yeah, it's what if you're just listening, it's a Tajima G16. They have a couple different lines. But yeah, it has a white tape.
And it's kind of matte.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really like the gloss finish.
No, it doesn't really make any sense.
I'm not concerned with stand out so much, like, you know, like with framers and things like that.
Yep.
But I do like a pretty stiff blade so that, you know, you hold it with your finger. Like, I don't really clip the lock too much. I like to just hold it with my finger on the bottom of the tape. It returns really nice. It's got a good feel to it. And it's not too big that it doesn't go in and out of the apron.
That Milwaukee's...
That's ridiculously large.
Yeah, it's about... the blade is 1.5 inches wide.
Yeah. This is it's got its place, but it's just too big to be practical.
I had my hopes up on that Comalon.
Yeah.
Because it you know, it's got a nice feel to it, it's got a nice shape.
Yeah.
And
it's super light.
Yeah, you know, a little too bright for me, maybe.
The color choice is a little weird.
But the auto lock just, it sucks and it wore out.
In less than a couple of days.
Yeah. You know, they have everything marked 1/8, quarter, 3/8, half. Okay. I know what the tick marks are. Maybe if you had it on just the inch, but it's all the way on the whole tape.
Yeah.
1/8, 1/4, 1. Come on. You can't read the tape.
Yeah, you shouldn't own one.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my recommendation. If you don't know about Tajima tapes, they're made in Japan. They're real high quality tape. Very accurate, that sort of thing.
I've had 4 or 5 different Tajima tape
Jeff
measures.
turned me on to that brand.
Yeah.
And they make some other tools too, and they're all really good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you use a chalk line, best chalk line you can buy is the Chalk Right, I think it's called, by Tajima. What else do I have? I have the Convoy caulking guns.
I think, did you have their knife?
I have had the blue utility knife, a little small for me. I like a big utility knife. I use the little 3/8 inch snap-off knives in the shop, but on like an install, I want a big.
Yeah, you use that beefy one.
Yeah, Stanley Titan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there you go. That's a good hearty recommendation on the tape.
Put a link for that down in the description. Tajima G16.
Yeah.
Shock resistant.
And if you have a little kid at home and you want to get them started,
get him a G6.
When Jeff's boy, who's 2.5, comes by, I give him this tape to play with, and he's learning his numbers and how to use a tape.
Yeah, several tape measures.
Yeah.
So this says Tajima tools for a perfect job, anytime, anywhere, since 1909.
Wow. Yeah, tried and true.
Yeah.
Feels right.
Yeah, it's got a good lock if you do use the lock.
Yeah.
A lot like the Stanley ones, you can't easily get them fully
No.
locked down. I venture to guess that Milwaukee's maybe the same because it's so big.
Yeah.
But this, easily gets to the fully locked.
Yeah.
Is it easy?
Yeah, it's got a lot of travel.
Yeah.
There's a final bit.
There's like it's a 2-part kind of thing.
That's what this one is too.
But like the Stanley Fat Maxes, you really got to push down hard to get it. Maybe it's just my dainty furniture maker hands, but I was a site carpenter for a long time. Don't forget.
I'm converting you over to the dark side.
Yeah.
Because the difference between working out in the field and working in the shop is pretty vast as you start, getting like used to working at a bench and carrying less stuff because everything's sort of within reach.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to pack your things up at night. So you do start going smaller and lighter on some things. You can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Check them out.
Yeah. Well.
Gripe of the week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, got one.
Soon to be retired Gripe?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll put it on the shelf for a while. I mean, today's a little gray, but we've had some glorious weather here the last few days. For those that don't know, we're in the northeast U.S. We're on the coast of New Jersey, central Jersey coast. And it was just like 60s, 65 maybe, sun shining.
It's 52 now, but it doesn't feel like it.
Because it's overcast. The robins are coming out.
Yep.
And it really, spring is so nice if you live in a 4-season area where that winter time is dissipating and you feel spring coming and you start to see some of the buds on the plants and those birds coming back. So it's hard to gripe when you have that kind of stuff going on outside your window and outside. But my gripe of the week this week is, and this is something we were kind of talking about earlier, is the way news is always focusing on
I see. I thought you were going on in a different direction.
No. And when I say news, I mean, the reported news.
Yep.
And it's what I was reading in the Times about a couple of research institutes that kind of followed up on this story, this train of thought to see if it was really true. And it turns out they did one study. They came up with results and they triple checked it with a couple others. And people are more interested in something that sounds like a bad accident or a tragedy, and that's a shame. I mean, I'm probably guilty of it myself, but I would like to wish that we could start focusing on better news. Because my gripe of the week is the focus on all the bad news out there instead of some of the good things that are going on.
I thought you were going to gripe about your physical therapy this morning. That's where I thought you were going.
Forget about what I just said. Here's my real gripe of the week. Okay, so
this is the petty gripe. That was a real gripe.
That was a real gripe. My petty gripe. Now, Jeff and I both go into PT, physical therapy. Him for his knees. Mine, I have a bicep tendon that's in bad shape, and it's been bugging me on and off for about 4 years. So finally, I go to physical therapy, and I set my appointment for 7:00 so we can get here and get to work. This is the way Jeff and I both do it. Even though we're the quote unquote bosses, we like to work and we like to.
Yeah, what the hell? We got to run a business. It's
you can't take advantage of that kind of stuff.
As much as some people may try.
That's right. So we both schedule for 7:00 so we can get back at work. Sort of the normal working time, 8:00. Takes about 10 minutes for us to get from the office to the shop. And my guy, he doesn't like starting at 7:00. So he kept telling me, you don't have to come at 7. You can come at 7:15, 7:20.
For your 7:00 appointment.
Right. And I'm like, but I want to come at 7 because I want to be done at 8.
Right.
I mean,
I would have made a 7:30 appointment
right.
had I wanted to come at 7:30.
It's like, I don't like getting out of the house that early either, but that's his job.
Right.
So today I go there 7. I even sat in the car till 10 after 7. Thought I'd give him a little chance. Go up there, place is closed. I go back, I sit in the car, reading some stuff on my phone. 7:20, still no answer. So I called, I canceled all my appointments. They said, well, no, we were there at 7:20. I'm like, no, you really weren't there at 7:20 because I was there at 7:20.
Right.
So what's the gripe in a couple of words? Can you put that in a sentence?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking, like, if you have a doctor's appointment and you don't show up, they can like charge you.
Yeah.
But now you're out your time.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They didn't even call me to wonder where I was. They didn't call all day. I had to call them after lunch, and they're saying, "Oh no, we could be there at 7." I'm like, no, cancel my appointment.
Should be there at 6:45 if you got a 7 o'clock appointment.
Exactly.
I was telling Rob, I show up to because I go to a different physical therapist. I show up at 6:55. The girl's sitting at the desk, the receptionist, and I see my physical therapist is sitting there on the computer getting ready. Lights are on.
Yeah, and it's not like they have to like jump right to work, because for me, probably same or similar.
I go on the
for
bike
you.
for 8 minutes. That's the first thing I do.
Yeah, first thing for me is 10 minutes of heat.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not even, all they do is put the pad on.
Yeah, they
you.
pull it out of the thing and put it on your arm.
And then I'm pretty much motivated because I have the sheet with all the stretches.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing the same thing the whole time I've been going. I don't even need, they're getting paid to just see me inside the door.
Yeah, so for the first 20 minutes, I'm all on my own. They don't even need to do anything. So that really, at 7:20, that's when the guy could start working on me.
Grow up, guy. Come on. 7 o'clock. It's not that early.
I know.
I'm up 5 a.m., 24/7, 365.
I know. So, oh, man, it was so annoying because I went to bed extra early last night so I could get up earlier so I could have my morning routine and then go.
Well, I pulled in at 7:40. I saw your car. I was like, I wonder what the hell happened.
Yeah. It ruined my whole morning.
Yeah.
But it worked out well in the end because I dug out my old big brace. What's that company?
DonJoy.
My big DonJoy brace with the articulated elbow. And my arm feels better today. That thing's a bear to strap on and wear.
Yeah.
But
is it titanium? I think that's what the knee ones are.
Yeah, I don't know what's on the inside, but it's that big neoprene and it straps on tight. So it's a rugged thing, but my arm isn't sore today, and I did all that hand sanding.
Yeah, it doesn't allow you to like go out of the correct range of motion.
Right. Well, I mean, we both sanded for 4 hours this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I got this swollen knuckle over here. Got the middle knuckle on my right hand is like twice the size of.
So for those of you who want to be woodworkers, today it was a combined 8 hours of sanding before lunch.
Yeah, and I'd be doing more if we weren't sitting down for this.
Yeah. So there you go. It was a double gripe, a real one. They're both real, but
petty
one's petty.
And one, more legitimate.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah, well, we got a decent amount of questions this week.
We better get rocking and rolling.
Get into them.
Yeah, I when you printed this out, I read this as we were setting up, and I laughed because
I'll let you take it then.
So here's our very first question from Hey Good Hardwoods on Instagram. I'm a hobbyist woodworker and started taking jobs from friends and family to pay for my hobby. We all kind of started that way. I'm intermediate at best and feel like I know my limits. When you were getting started, how'd you both handle situations when a job may be testing the limits of your skill set? Have you ever had an experience where you realize you were in way over your head? Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I'll say that, really every job is testing our skill set in some way or another, because we always introduce something to the job, to, like, even if it's a kitchen, if it's something that we've built 1,000 times, we might introduce a new technique or a new process, a new way of doing something. We might say, we're gonna try and bore the shelf pins this way this time, or whatever. We're gonna do something new,
right?
Just to try and expand the skill set that you're talking about. How do we handle the situation in terms of testing the skill set? We don't really handle much. We kind of just go for it, and then if it doesn't work out, you always have you can fall back on
stuff that we know is a little bit more solid.
So in terms of being in over our head, good example is this. You could see right here these are the curved parts for those chaise lounges that we were building. Now these were originally supposed to be steam bent. We've never done any steam bending, none whatsoever. So that was the plan originally.
Yeah.
On our end, these weren't sold as steam bent. They weren't sold as anything in particular.
Just curved.
Right. Yeah. The drawing didn't even have wood grain on it. So we're matching something that already exists, which, not something we typically do. So the steam bending, we tried 3 or 4 different ways to go about it, and they all, failed miserably.
Well, they
all failed. They weren't up to snuff. Some of them were. We got close, but they weren't.
Wasn't 100% on either way.
So what we did is we fell back to a technique that we were comfortable with, which was gluing them up, cutting it on the bandsaw, flush trimming on the shaper.
That was a little clencher.
Yeah, John.
That was also a learning experience.
Yeah, right. That was something new. So John Peters is going to come by tomorrow and shoot a little video. We're going to talk about the flush trimming there and these, and we might talk about the planer maybe.
Yeah. So one of the things you touched on is that doesn't ever go away. The over your head, so to speak. That's part of who we are and how we operate.
Yeah, I was going to say there's plenty of guys that don't do it the way that we do, where they just do the same old thing day in and day out. But if you want to A, get better at what you do, and B, enjoy coming to work every day, then you have to be introducing these new ways to do things, new techniques, new tools, all that stuff.
And it's not to say that we don't repeat certain stylistic cues and everything, but even something simple like these walnut units, the construction techniques we're very familiar with. Mm-hmm. We used a lot of dominoes, and they made these web frames. But the thing we didn't know until it was all put together is if it would be strong enough, if it would hold itself up, because there's a lot of negative space in this design. That's what the client wanted.
Yeah, it's about 90% negative space.
Right. There are no solid walls. There's no back. There's no top. There's no bottom. And it's going to hold glass shelves. And it's all these irregular heights and widths. So we knew we could build it. We just didn't know what would be the result at the end.
Right.
And they came out surprisingly stiff and strong. Mm-hmm. We were like, wow, this worked.
Yeah, those front middle sections, that front corner is completely unsupported. Not unsupported, but there's no lateral nothing to stop it from moving laterally.
So that worked out. But again, we had no idea, and this job was on the books for 2 months. We just found out yesterday that it worked.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to backtrack.
Right. So
these chaise lounges were supposed to be delivered 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Luckily we have there's not a tight delivery deadline because this building is totally held up anyway with COVID and all the delays associated with that.
So they're not looking for these chairs.
No. I mean, it's probably getting towards a time where they're ready to accept them.
Yeah.
So we had.
That's more.
Luckily,
of
we
our
had
deadline.
the time. Yeah. And we've worked on multiple jobs at the same time. So
yeah, as we licked our wounds and went back to another job, we said, all right, and then the Monday would come. All right, what are we going to do with these chaise lounges this week? And for about a month, every week we were embarking on a new strategy.
Yeah. But all that time, it's going to pay dividends later on because we know what's possible and what's not and what not to do. So sometimes you have to learn by failure.
That's it. I mean, we look at these as increasing the value of our knowledge base and eventually of the company as we grow and expand. So that's what we're going to encourage you to do.
Yep.
Don't think of it as being in over your head in a negative way. Mm-hmm. Look at it as expanding your horizons there.
Yeah, and something I thought of when I was writing this down this morning was, like whenever I have to do something that I haven't done before, like when I built that curved hood at Tom's, like I had never built a curved hood before. So
that thing came out great.
Leading up to that, I just immersed myself in as much information on that as I could. So start Googling how to build a curved hood, YouTube, how to build a curved hood, building a curved hood, and take in as much information as you can. And, you're going to be able to piece it together you might have to watch 3 dozen different things or
YouTube's
read.
Amazing that way too.
Yeah. Reach out to people on Instagram. If you got a question that we can answer, hit us up, because you got to learn somehow.
Right. You don't always want to just look at the successes. Like on Instagram, it's all this amazing stuff and, forward. What do you call that? Fast forward.
Yeah.
People doing stuff. You don't see the process to get to that point, which is usually a bunch of failures and learning and figuring out.
Yeah.
We're constantly doing new stuff. So we have to figure it out each job. And that's exciting for us.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go number 2.
Yeah. When gluing, do you guys glue size the joint? Meaning, do you squirt glue in the joint, like on a miter fold the joint, then open it back up, let the glue enter into the pores, then add a little more glue and clamp it up? Wow, that was hard to explain.
I knew what it meant.
Andy from Andy C Makes on Instagram. Check out Andy's Instagram because he makes some really interesting stuff. Andy's like he does millwork as his day job, but then he does like all kinds of cool carvings and stuff. I would say it depends on what we're gluing up. I do that on stuff like the feet for this cherry cabinet. I'm always motioning to things off camera and I'm expecting people to know what the hell I'm talking about.
That thing over there.
Yeah, it has these mitered bracket feet. So like when I do stuff like that where it's a miter, first of all, I always I call it double gluing. Double glue a miter so that it's a really strong joint because it's naturally a weak joint. Like a panel glue up, we're not going to do it on that because, you're going to get your squeeze out and it's going to be good edge grain to edge grain. I tend to do it with any type of end grain, whether both sides are end grain or one side is end grain. Do it in situations like that.
Yeah, that's pretty much shop routine.
Yeah, we don't really miter fold anything.
But miters will be a little bit more conscious of spreading that glue in with a brush on both sides and packing it in.
Yeah, I really push it in with my finger because you can, like, when I was a trim carpenter, I would double glue on my miters. You can cover the entire joint with glue where you can't even see the wood, and you come back in 60 seconds, and the glue's gone. It all gets sucked down into the pores of the wood.
Yeah. I'm pretty conscious of trying to get the right amount of squeeze out.
Yeah.
I don't want to starve the joint, but I don't want to flood the joint either on like the regular kind of glue up. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think trial and error too goes a long way. We're always testing the glue joints when we like glue up a panel and then we cut it up to size and we'll smack those glue
Oh, yeah.
joints.
Yeah, every time.
We want to see where it's going to break.
Yep.
So that's about it. Yeah. I wonder what Andy does.
I'm going to guess he glue sizes.
Yeah. I never heard that expression until I started working at Tom's, glue size.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You can glue size too, which is what we did over there. Like edges of MDF with a mixture of water and glue to harden things up. And I know you can do that too on wood
Right.
You pre-treat the edges with a glue sizing solution to get them nice and hard.
Yeah. This next question's pretty interesting.
Yeah, something we've talked about.
Yeah. Have you guys ever considered opening a storefront? Pros and cons of actually having a store. That's from Luke, Brown's Custom Craft on Instagram.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Yeah. First of all, real estate in New Jersey, whether it's purchase, rental, anything at all, and Jeff's just gone through it firsthand, is so expensive. It's prohibitive. It'd be number one question. All right, yeah, let's get a storefront. We'll hire somebody to sit there, and we'll make a bunch of pieces on spec, and that'll really be a great way to tie
ourselves up for a year.
Yeah. Our word out, and where people can touch the stuff and see it and really experience what it's like to, work with a handmade piece of furniture. We'd never be able to afford it. We'd have to make twice as much stuff in our shop just to be able to pay for the rent.
Yeah, and to even, how are we going to get anything? How are we going to build anything on spec when we're busy building things on commission?
We're already so it would be a huge equation to we'd have to expand. We'd have to have a bigger shop because we're sort of at capacity here in our little shop.
Yeah.
Then we'd have to have a whole other staff of production staff, and then another one or two people to work the storefront. It sounds great, but it's just not feasible for us as small as we are and in our location.
Yeah. I think you really have to have a well-known name to benefit from a storefront, or not to benefit, to make opening a storefront feasible. Like if we were, places like Moser that we talk about all the time, they have brick and mortar stores. They got them all over the country because people that buy are in the market for, nice handmade furniture or whatever you want to call that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly handmade, the Moser stuff.
Yeah. They do a really nice job of mixing that.
People who are in the market for that kind of stuff know about Moser, so they go to the Moser showroom. If you don't know Greene Street Joinery, you're not just going to stumble in from the street into this.
Yeah, you'd have to have a really prime location. Let's say,
even then, you need a targeted audience because Joe Schmo isn't going to come in and spend $15,000 on a piece of casework.
You'll get the random person strolling down, if it's, let's say, Broadway or whatever in Red Bank or there's a lot of foot traffic on that street. So we have a couple of things in the window. We'll get random people walking in the store. But
bunch of tire kickers.
Yeah. And then
why is this so
much?
Why is this table $20,000?
Yeah. I can get one in Fortune off. Yeah. So boy, you'd have to have some thick skin to be the worker at the store.
Yeah.
Because I could only imagine the insults and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, rents you're talking $3,000 probably a month. Plus, all the overhead involved with payroll, and you got to pay the person to be there. And, then you got to pay someone, ourselves, to create the inventory to be inside the store.
Yeah.
So it's easier for us. Our storefront is Instagram.
Yeah.
You want to see what we can make? You go there, see what we've built, and then you want something, we'll make it for you.
Yeah. I think the audience reach might not be as big a factor as someone really getting hands on the furniture.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
That would be the big draw.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe one day something will change. But right now, it's just me and Jeff behind the house in the shop.
Yep.
So, unless there's somebody out there listening, that has some space, good location, they want to,
money.
Yeah, they want to maybe just lend it to us for a year or two, see what we could do with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to start building stuff on spec. That's the dream,
Yeah.
to build what we want to build.
Right.
And then people just buy it.
Yeah.
But, it takes time to get to that point, and, most people never get to that point.
Yeah. All right. You want to read the next question?
Yeah. From our buddy Jordan, Jack Pallet on Instagram. Variable speed sanders. How often do you adjust the speed, or is it set on high speed for maximum, is it set on high for maximum sanding speed, or slowed down for higher grits?
We're all about the maximum speed.
Yeah,
I
I
think.
just keep that thing cranked to 6.
If there was a 7 or 8, it'd be on it.
Yeah. Even the Rotex, that thing stays on high.
Yeah. Sanding is, as everybody knows, everybody who's sanded knows, it's something you have to do. You have to do it well to get the job finished, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody really enjoys. I mean, today we both had to get in our little zones and just do it.
Yeah, it was like an hour a piece to sand those, because it's an inside curve and an outside curve.
Yeah.
Mostly hand sanding.
Yeah, I started with using the combination, but sometimes just having the quiet is worth the extra work to do it by hand.
Yeah, and you're not going to roll an edge over with by hand sanding.
So, number 6 all the time, 24/7.
That's a Festool speed.
Yeah.
Yours might go higher.
Yes, we only have 6 speeds. Well, this is a loaded question from Jerry, one of our patrons, GA Woodshop on Instagram. Jerry's going to want to know what's going on with the planer. He says, give us an update on the planer.
The planer is all set back up. So when we got it, in these planers from infeed side over, you have your infeed roller. There's a chip breaker,
which is like this piece of steel, essentially.
Right. Yeah, like same thing that you would have on your hand plane, just it's reversed because you're feeding in a different direction. Infeed roller, chip breaker, cutter head, outfeed roller. So when we got the machine, the chip breaker was like it never got set up.
No.
So it was like actually an 1/8 of an inch lower than the cutter head.
So we're trying to jam boards in.
So I'm like, why the hell are these boards? They're getting stuck. They're not feeding in. Must be the infeed roller. The infeed roller's too high. So I had adjusted this thing all out of whack with a dial indicator that, it was 1/100th of an inch. That was the readout on that thing. So got a new dial indicator, got everything back to book spec, and it's running pretty good now. I had to raise the chip breaker, actually, after I adjusted it, came back down somehow. I need to bring it back down because it helps keep the piece down to the bed.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a little bit of snipe right now. So if I bring that back down, I had it at one point. There was no snipe, which I've never seen. There was literally no snipe on the board, front or back. So
so the planer is for the most part it's working really well.
Yeah,
but it wasn't without a lot of effort on our part that we probably shouldn't have had to spend.
Yeah, and I will say that I probably shouldn't have gone messing around with it.
Without reading the book.
No, well, I did without a proper dial indicator and without, the thing is the book was really missing any information on the chip breaker.
Yeah, it didn't mention it at all.
Yeah, it said it was there. It didn't say anything about how to adjust it or anything. So that's something that Oliver, we spoke to them. They're going to be, creating an addendum for the, whatever you call that, manual.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a combination of, their fault and our fault.
It was a little frustrating, but
it was extremely frustrating.
Got it all worked out.
Yeah. So it's doing good now. There's I guess just with this design, the head has like a little bit of deflection.
Yeah.
Because it is the cutter head that moves up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Which it may be on the 4-post too, and I just never noticed it because now we're like scrutinizing the hell out of this thing. But yeah, it's working pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So there you go, Jerry. There's our update. We didn't throw it away. We felt like it was.
I'm realizing that I think I had a question that I missed on here.
Yeah. You want me to read the next one while you search for it?
I'll read it. I'll pull it up on my phone.
All right.
I'm beginning to pick woodworking back up after taking shop in high school. I bought a DeWalt job site table saw last year. Man, look at all the typos I have in here. Last year, but now I really want a better saw. After hearing you talk about Oliver, I'm looking into their 10040 10-inch hybrid table saw, which is better than a contractor saw, but not as good as a cabinet saw. Of course, I'd also like a saw stop, but it would be about twice as much. Any recommendations on contractor versus cabinet saw for those of us who probably don't need the highest level saw? That's from Parker. He's P. Haynes on Instagram.
Yeah. Well, what I would look at, Parker, a lot of the saws that are contractor saws and those hybrid saws, they call them, are similar on the inside.
Yeah.
Where they just, the hybrid saw has like a square.
Hybrid saw is like a contractor saw with a cabinet saw base, basically.
Right, because one of the big differences is the contractor saw the motor is suspended on this frame where the belt is sort of kept tight by the weight of the motor.
Right.
And a cabinet saw, the motor is on this trunnion. So it's really a completely different mechanical setup. It's a lot more solid and stable. And that's really the big advantage to those two saws, I think.
Yeah, so I just pulled up
contractor versus the cabinet.
I pulled up the
Oliver?
Yeah. It's not. This is a direct drive saw.
Direct drive?
Yeah. Does it say direct drive? That's what it looks like.
That's unusual.
Yeah. But it says poly V-belt.
Oh. I mean, the contractor saws and the cabinet saws both have belts.
Yeah,
it's just that the way the motor is fastened.
Yeah, this is the motor and
oh, yeah.
And look, kind of looks like the motor is right behind the arbor there.
Yep. So that looks like the motor, it's not hanging like on a contractor saw.
Yeah, it almost looks like it goes right to the arbor.
Mm-hmm. So I think you would agree with me that if you can afford a saw where the motor's mounted on a trunnion, like a cabinet saw, a typical cabinet saw, that'd be the way to go.
Yeah, let's see. This is 1 3/4 horsepower. It's only 266 pounds.
What would you compare it to?
It's probably the Oliver and the Laguna stuff are very similar. So this is probably like one of the lower end. Lagunas Oliver doesn't have a lot of their prices. When they're out of stock, the price doesn't show on their website.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find.
I'm wondering where you're located, Parker, because the first saw that comes to mind would be a Unisaw.
Yeah, that's like what we always recommend.
That you can get used.
So it's about a $1,600 saw.
Yeah, if you're lucky, and I would say just a little bit lucky, because there are a lot of them out there, and you're near an auction, especially, you can pick up a Unisaw for $500 and sometimes less. You can get one that's 3 horsepower, that's single phase.
Yep.
And is a machine that will serve you, forever if you want it. I mean, it's not the best saw. We have one here in the shop, but it's much better than most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing he said was that, he travels a lot, or he moves a lot for work.
Oh.
So he doesn't want something that's too heavy. I mean,
oh yeah, the Unisaw is
300 versus 400.
They're hard to move, those saws.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure moving this and moving that, like, you need a hand truck either way. So it's probably not much different. But I'd say, like, if you're looking for something that's 110 and, has a decent cut quality, this doesn't look too bad. I mean, we can't speak to it personally. We haven't used it or seen it or, looked into it prior to this. But, looking at the stats and the pictures.
In general, our experience with Oliver is they have two kind of categories of tools.
Yeah, like most brands.
Right, where there's the sort of like the heavy duty stuff, and then there's more of the consumer stuff. Mm-hmm. What does it look like? Does this look like one of their consumer tools, or?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not like a cast iron base. Mm-hmm. It's a sheet metal base, and so like here's their Oliver has a 16-inch table saw. Here's their 10-inch like cabinet saw. Their 10-inch cabinet saw weighs 480 pounds.
Okay.
This saw weighs 266 pounds. So it's almost double the weight.
Yeah. Is some of that in the top? Does it look like the wings, cast iron?
I mean, the base is... The base looks just like that. Just like the shaper.
Yeah. The shaper was almost 700 pounds. It was 660 pounds, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, like, the motor mount and everything looks more robust on this. But again, this is, let's see.
They talk about price there.
Oliver 4016.
I mean, we love our saw stuff. We don't think, it's overpriced.
Yeah, this is a 3,000. It's twice the price, this saw. But it's 5 horsepower, 220.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if he's got 220, but single phase, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry we couldn't be more help, Parker, but I'd say, a hybrid saw is going to be better than a contractor saw.
Yeah.
Not going to be as good as a cabinet saw, but
a better dust collection.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an important issue too.
And something like this Oliver, like the motor mount is better than a contractor saw. Contractor saw, that motor's hanging in the front of the with a big long belt.
Yeah. And there's a lot of vibration.
Yeah.
I had a contractor saw 100 years ago. Even with the V belt, which they say, reduces vibration, it's still, bumping and grinding.
This Oliver 16-inch table saw.
Yeah.
10 horsepower.
Yeah.
It weighs 986 pounds.
What do you need a 16-inch table saw for?
Cutting some tall stuff. It'll take 1.5 inch dado.
I don't want my hands near that saw.
Cut 5.5 inch high.
Yeah, that's good. I only want that saw if we have somebody else to run it.
Oh, I'll cut on there.
So, I mean, we weren't completely no help.
No. Well,
yeah. So let's summarize what our opinions are. We think a cabinet saw is definitely the way to go.
Yeah. If you want best cut quality, buy a used cabinet saw. Mm-hmm. If you want something new, then get a hybrid saw.
Yeah.
I know Delta makes a hybrid saw too.
Yeah. I mean, what would you say is the biggest difference between a job site saw and a contractor saw? If you have your job site saw set up, in a table, so it's like at the right height and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, is there going to be that big of a difference?
Yeah, I mean, typically the motors are very small on those job site saws, and everything is plastic, basically.
Yeah, the fence and...
Yeah.
Yeah, look for something like a Biesmeyer style fence, unless you're getting the Unisaw.
Yep.
The Unisaw style fence.
Well, yeah, they don't even make that anymore.
They don't?
No, they have Biesmeyer style now.
Oh, I like that fence.
Yeah.
I had the choice when I bought mine, whether I could get the Biesmeyer or the...
There's the Harvey has a high-low like that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You know why I got the high-low fence? Because Norm had it.
It's a good reason.
I didn't know the difference for myself. It
is nice for ripping small stuff.
And you do get used to it. I used to keep it on the low setting all the time because you could really get your hand in there off to the side.
Somebody was always moving it.
Yeah.
That mantle maker.
Yeah. He loved putting his fingers near that blade.
Yeah.
And look what it got him.
Yeah.
Old Dickie 9 fingers.
Yeah. Well, Parker, if you can develop now a more specific question for us from what the information we gave you, we'll try our best to answer it.
Yeah, and we could hook you up with an auction website where if you're like in Pennsylvania, they're all over the place out there.
Yeah. If you're in the Midwest, there's probably a freaking 100 of them.
Yeah. What's this next question have to say? How often, if ever, do you ship pieces? What's your go-to process on crating and shipping? Cheers from Low Country Modern on Instagram.
Well, as Greene Street, we've only shipped the sauce wall. I know you've had something freighted before.
Yeah.
In terms of process, you can go online and, get a quote for freight. And just pick whatever freight company you want to use, whether it's Saya or what the hell was the one that delivered the Oliver stuff?
Oh,
ABF, UPS. There's UPS freight, FedEx freight.
Yeah.
So you go on, you can pick whichever one you want. It'll give you all the prices, sorted by lowest to highest, whatever. And then for the crate, just grade it up. Just pack it nice.
For sauce, we built a case out of 3/4 inch plywood.
Yeah.
And set it on a couple of pallets.
Yep.
And the forklift just put it in the truck.
Yeah, those things they're going in and out of 18 wheelers, so there's not a whole lot of potential damage, especially with 3/4 finished, this is pre-fin ply.
Yeah.
Which is pretty tough.
Yeah, the driver thought the case was the piece.
So this thing can't get scratched? We're like, no, this is the crate. It's inside of there.
Yes, what we built inside this.
Yeah. No, we're shipping this finished
I don't know if
box.
that was a compliment or
yeah.
We just didn't know. In the past, I've done both freight. I'll say both. One was like the over the road guys, and I actually, to reduce the cost, because I don't have a forklift here, I put it in my truck and drove it to. There's that one down in Eatontown. There's a place, and dropped it off there. And I also did one of those things like they have the TV shows where you go online.
So many bids.
Yeah, and they bid, and then some guy came by in this big van, and I sent a couple of Adirondack chairs down to Virginia or Maryland, somewhere around there. But for the most part, we don't ship things because we have a small local business, we'll call it.
Yeah, we're not opposed to it. Just hasn't really happened.
Yeah, there's people I suppose if somebody wanted something that they saw on Instagram that we'd done and they were comfortable purchasing it sight unseen, well, I guess that's kind of how most of the things are bought.
As long as their money's green.
Yeah, we'll pack it up and ship it. Now, where's Loco? Where's he located?
I want to say.
Low country
Tennessee?
usually that's in the Carolinas when we talk about cuisine, right?
It says Charleston Lover, so
There
maybe
you go.
Charleston. I don't know why I said Tennessee, why I thought that. But
I
Yeah,
wonder what his
Charleston.
story is if he's shipping stuff. Let us know.
Yeah. Charleston's beautiful.
Yeah. Jeff, this next question's for you.
Yeah. Jeff, I heard you mention that you had/have back issues. I have some as well. Do you use a specific bag set or apron on install that helps at all? It's from Adam, built by AT on Instagram. I have acute back problems, so my back doesn't. I don't have back problems per se, but I occasionally have problems with my back, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You like a big belt.
Yeah. So for install, I wear, a 3-inch Occidental Ranger belt
Yeah.
with, I forget which bags I have on there, but I will wear an apron on install sometimes, depending on what we're doing. Like if we're going out and it's a simple install, I might just pack my apron because I don't want to drag my belt out of my truck. But in terms of that and my back, they're not really related, I'd say. I'd say posture and, the working conditions have the most effect on your back. Today I'm hunched over sanding, so my back's probably going to hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can avoid those things.
Yeah. We were talking the other day about why the benches are the height they are when they seem
a little low.
Yeah, maybe they could be a couple of inches higher. And
we worked at a place with some real low benches.
Yeah.
Really low.
There was a mutiny though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we worked in this place and all the benches, what are they, 30 inches?
Yeah,
I can't remember because I raised mine about 6 inches. And because I just refused to work at that height.
Yeah.
And I said that I don't care.
It's because it was, for putting together cabinets, which then sit,
right.
Whatever.
Right. They were all, for like working on
assembling a cabinet.
Wasn't like a bench height. Yeah. So, your back hasn't been bothering you too much. Maybe tomorrow. And you've been doing a lot of reno on the house and
oh God, yeah. So now my hand hurts and my knees.
Yeah, we're a mess.
Yeah.
All right. I wonder what his specific problems are, if they're job related.
Yeah, those back issues, man, are brutal.
Yeah, they're tough to get over.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, my back used to hurt me all the time. And then I found out it was because I was always sleeping on my stomach. And being a young, poor musician, my bed was a futon with like a camel dip in the middle, like one of those, like a glue factory horse.
Yeah,
so turns out I'm sleeping, in this awful position. And once I got a real bed, my back problems went away.
Yeah, I wake up like once in the middle of the night and my back hurts and I just roll over and then I'm good.
Yeah.
Because it gets a little worn out on that one side.
All right. If a client asked for floating shelves, would you make them? Of course we would. Only if they pay.
Right.
But here you go. Every time I get asked to make floating shelves and quote them, the clients are astounded at the price and don't go for them. Thinking of just saying I don't do them. Thoughts? Rob Vincep on Instagram.
Well, Rob, I'd say don't box yourself out of doing them if someone's going to pay.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't create a blanket, policy like that, but just you've quoted them enough times now where you know how much it costs. So when the conversation comes up, yeah, I do floating shelves that, start at $600 a piece.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right. We get that all the time on everything. Not every customer, and we've sold 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5. We did them somewhere else, didn't we?
Yeah.
Mendelsohn, Lori. Is that it?
No, what's her name? Mantle. Did Mantle? Did we do those?
No,
we didn't. Yeah.
Were we supposed to do those?
Who's talking about it?
Hey, it's tax season. These clients got some money now.
That's right. We got to start hitting up some of these old clients.
Speaking of which, I just got my 2019 tax refund.
Hey, cheers.
About time. Thanks a lot,
But
IRS.
yeah, Jeff's making a good point. You kind of know the price range, so it's not a big investment in time. If it comes up, say, yeah, this is what it's going to be.
Yeah, like we use the Shelfology brackets. We know they cost anywhere between $80 to $120.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to use, if you're using 8/4, it's going to be, and it's a 6-inch deep or whatever, we'll call it a foot deep, however many board feet. It takes about 4 hours to make, and it takes, depending on how many you're installing, a day to install
Right.
4 of them.
Right. We know some people do things a different way.
Yeah, we build them out of solid wood.
Yeah.
Not 1/4-inch plywood.
Yeah. If somebody looks for like a slab style shelf, we give them a slab of wood with
Right. Yeah.
the appropriate holes drilled in the back to slide onto the steel
Yeah.
hangers.
Rather than take 2 pieces of 1/4-inch plywood and put
build a
ribs in
box.
between, and then put a piece of 3/4 on the front and the sides and try and miter it and make it tight, and then you have a seam and you got perpendicular grain on the ends,
Right. So what we have
and then it takes you a day to make a couple of them.
is fast. It's the real thing. And I think it's probably cheaper to make it that way.
Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't, it's just better.
Right.
It's not.
Well, yeah, that's
You go like this on those shelves and you hear
sounds like a hollow core door because that's what it is.
It sounds like this.
Come in.
It's just 2 pieces of 1/4-inch plywood with air in the middle.
Right. So we've done them. People do balk at the price because they think, they go, well, I can buy these melamine shelves at the Home Depot and put them on these standards and brackets, and that's going to cost me $49. Surely I could get myself a floating shelf for
$250.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Yeah. But that's our reality anyway. So,
Yeah.
everybody is, they all fall over when they hear the price. So,
And it's curious. I always want to say, but, I try not to be rude. Well, how much do you make per hour? How much is your time worth? And there's a new clothing company out of Canada called Troll, and they have some good sayings that they're promoting on their sweatshirts and T-shirts. One is
like inspirational quotes.
No, more like "fuck you" quotes. Pardon my language. It's like dirty hands, clean money.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But the other one is, don't just pay me for my time, pay me for my expertise.
Yeah.
And as tradesmen, sometimes
Talking about like the $13,000 tooth surgery that they just
that's
yes.
oh my God. Yeah, exactly. That's a little crazy.
Yeah, it's just you're gonna be in and out. $13,000.
Yeah. Well, we'll touch on that, but as tradesmen, we're constantly fighting this image that our time and experience isn't worth something.
Yeah, we're just hourly grunt workers.
Yeah, we're just guys with a hammer and a tape measure.
What do you mean you charge $55 an hour?
Right. Well, how much do you earn?
Yeah. I could do it if I just had the time.
Yeah. Well, I could do your job, and I, could probably do it and my job.
Well, you make phone calls all day?
Yeah.
I got a phone.
Don't get us started. So, yeah, I went to the dentist this morning I went yesterday at lunchtime for a consultation with the surgeon because I had this root canal that was done in 1981.
Man, I wasn't even a glimmer in my daddy's eye.
Yeah. So I was a broke kid and I had this toothache. So what do? I went to the dental college where it was free.
Guinea pig.
That's right. This is what you do when you're poor.
What a deal. You mean they got no experience? No.
It didn't matter. Well, they said, "Oh, you're going to need a root canal." And I said, "Okay." Well, that was the beginning of a 40-year problem.
You probably didn't even need a root canal. They just needed someone to do a root canal on.
Exactly.
They're like, we got to get a root canal done. This guy looks like he's...
So, yeah, like 5 years, I'd find myself back at the dentist, and this one tooth was always the problem. And eventually it degenerated to where there was decay, and a couple of other teeth were affected, the adjoining teeth. And I wound up with, what is it, a bridge where they grind off the other teeth and put this thing on top?
Yeah.
Well, so that's what happened. And so now this bridge is failing. So the guy who did it, he's retired. And I go to the dentist and he goes, oh, yeah, just matter of factly. Yeah, these things fail, because they're made of, there's cement in there. And I'm under the impression that this is a lifetime thing. Nobody told me this was going to be like there was a expiration date on my bridge. So it goes, now we're going to, because of the way these teeth were already ground down, we're going to have to give you implants. I'm like, well, what's that? He's like, well, we got to do this, that, and the other thing. And I said, well, how long does this take? He says, well, the first operation will take about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And then you got to come back in about 4 months.
Yeah, we're going to pull your 3 teeth out.
Yeah.
And then that's an hour and a half.
So this is what this is degenerated to. And then you got to let that heal. And then we'll give you like these permanent fake teeth. Mm-hmm. We'll screw in there. So I leave there, and the lady says, well, I almost got to figure out what your participation would be. You like how they word that, right? What's your participation in this? And I have insurance. I have pretty good insurance through my wife, who was a New York City school teacher. So, right?
Yeah, that's any dental insurance is good. I don't have dental.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that's going to be all right. So the lady calls me today and tells me what my participation, including my insurance, was going to be. It was $13,000.
Like, yeah, your insurance will pay for the balloon we give you at the end. We'll give you a sticker.
I said, listen, I'm a blue collar guy. I said, that's like buying a new car around here. Yeah. So you're going to have to reach into your bag of tricks and come up with some alternatives.
That's 3 new saw stops.
That's right. I said, because I'm not spending that. Even if I had $13,000, I'm not giving it to you. I said, I'll let that tooth fall out.
Yeah, then you did half the work.
That's right.
Half the work's taking them out.
So
you drink about 3 or 4 of these, you pull that sucker right out.
That's right. I'll just start drinking a shot of bourbon every morning. And so I'm guessing that guy's getting paid for his expertise.
Oh, yeah.
And not just his time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a little bit of a divergence.
Yeah, and, your insurance considers that cosmetic.
Right.
So it's the same thing. Like, all right, these shelves are cosmetic. You want them, you got to pay up.
That's right.
You don't need these shelves, but if you want them, okay, they're $1,000 a piece or whatever it costs.
Right. Whatever your time is worth and however much time you spend.
Yeah, I mean, when we price out floating shelves, I'm always shocked at what they really, like what it comes out to.
Because it's work.
We did two in Cherry, and it was like almost $1,500.
Yeah.
And that was like giving them away.
Yeah. That was to the lady from the liquor store, right?
Yeah.
But they were nice. I mean, they're super nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the install is a killer. It's a half a day, no matter what.
Right. You got to go there. There's never any studs. You got to set them level.
Yeah, like the brackets we use, they're not on 16, so you got to, you could hit a stud somewhere maybe, or,
Right. It also depends on the length of the shelf.
Yes,
38 inches.
You might get one in the middle.
Stud or something.
Yeah. So then you're putting in anchors, and you got to, scribe it to the wall.
Or there's a pipe in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always something. Right?
We got another question from Andy here. Andy C makes on Instagram.
All right.
Splinters. How do you remove? Tweezers, razor blade, or leave it to work its way out?
Oh, man. All of the above, right?
Yeah. See, tweezers are my first option, and then I go straight razor blade.
Yeah,
I never leave it to work its way out.
Yeah. I'm going to say, well, we have those like super needle nosy tweezers?
Oh no, you got to see the ones I have.
Oh yeah,
those are like blunt compared to the ones I have. The ones I have are literally like a pin on the end.
Oh, I gotta check those out. Yeah,
I have to bring them in.
Yeah, I mean, if I look at my hands at any given day, there's probably about 4 or 5 splinters in there.
I really don't get them. I wear gloves.
Yeah, so I'm a non-glove wearer, and I always have several splinters that are beneath the skin that I either broke off, and you just kind of have to get used to the idea of them being there, and eventually they'll get to the point where I know if I push on it, it'll come shooting out. I guess that's a little bit of an infection.
If I can feel it in there and I know it's there, I have to get it out. I can't leave it.
You can't, yeah.
Yeah, no. I'll take a razor blade and cut it out.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm just so immune to the idea of it now that, yeah, I mean, look, you can see 4 splinters in my left hand.
Gotta get you a pair of gloves.
And I have pretty rough skin too. I mean, it takes a bit for a splinter to get through my hand.
Yeah, that wood's sharp.
That would be a good like a poll question.
Yeah,
you know what's people's go-to for the splinters. All right, I think we had a question similar to this early on in our careers as podcasters.
Yeah, actually, it was wasn't that long ago. It's from Nicholas N. Strubhart on Instagram. What is a dream project you want to build?
Wow. Well, if anybody can remember my dream project still, and it's modest, and so I think I'll get to it, is some Morris furniture, some Morris style furniture.
Yeah.
You know, I'll probably give it my own bit of design influence, but pretty traditional. I want to do it. I want to build one of those recliners with the pegs.
Yeah.
Maybe a settee, maybe a sofa.
I do like those Morris style
table.
couches.
I just, for whatever reason, that's really it for me right now.
Yeah, I'll go back to my answer the first time we got like a question like this, which is to curate like an entire home.
Yeah.
To do, everything from the kitchen to the furniture, built-ins, all that stuff.
Frank Lloyd Wright thing. Yeah. I mean, of course, that I used to think like that, but you see, I don't think I have enough time left.
You have to speed up.
Well, I used to want to build the house too.
Yeah.
You know, I went up to Maine that summer and I learned how to do some timber framing. Mm-hmm. And this is how naive I was. Not that it's impossible, but I was going to build my timber frame house, you know, the timber frame part of it.
In your garage.
In Brooklyn and label all the parts. And then, once I got my piece of property, I was going to, assemble a crew and go up and assemble it. And it's not far from how they do it, like companies do it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But that was my dream and then follow through with yours, to do the whole thing.
I like that idea, but like the whole idea of a timber frame house just doesn't really, doesn't really do it for me. It just seems like so much wasted effort. Like I want sheetrock inside my house. You
can put sheetrock.
I know, but then why not just stick frame it?
I don't know. I'm sure people ask that question kind of about us.
That's true.
We're the masters of overwork here and overdoing it.
Yeah, like I'd like to even, like you said, like design the house itself, because I come from a background of working for custom builders, so I've worked on a lot of houses and built them from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, you've done that
from
other people,
laying out the foundation all the way to the punch list. So I've worked on every phase of the job. So I know about architecture and how to lay out a house and stuff like that. I'm not saying that I'm well written in it, but I know enough where I could definitely
enough to be dangerous.
Yeah. And most of these jackasses out here don't know anyway. So
that's the thing. When you see what people who are paid to do this, who have like spent their professional lives doing something, you go, I'm already better at this than they are. And that's not overstating our abilities. It's just most people don't care. They don't put their heart into it.
Yeah, it's just a job instead of a craft.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great way to put it.
So these next two questions, you see, they kind of got lumped.
Oh, okay.
Second to last got lumped in with this last one. They kind of go together.
All right. So I'll read this one up here. If you could meet any famous woodworker who is alive or not with us today, who would it be? That's from CT Woodwork on Instagram.
Yeah, then might as well read the next one. If you had the opportunity to apprentice with one of the many masters of woodworking, who would it be and why? That's from our buddy Lou.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny
the other
that
two were stuck together.
That they both came in and they're very similar. I figured my answer to one is probably going to be the answer to the other.
Maybe.
What do you got?
Well, I'm going to say that I don't know too many guys, by name. There's the Kranoff and, Nakashima. Stickley and the Greene brothers and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Greene brothers didn't make anything though, really.
Yeah.
Was it the Hall brothers were the guys that were making everything?
I would probably say, I don't know if I could classify him as a woodworker, and this is a close one for me. I might say Frank Lloyd Wright, because his thoughts on design and his eye and his aesthetic are just something I would want to be around and absorb and be immersed in. Like I have a little box set of like postcards up there just filled with his stained glass designs. I mean, this stuff is, for me, the pinnacle of that kind of design work. So I'd say Frank Lloyd Wright, with Norm being a close second.
Well, you already met Norm,
yeah,
so
I know, but I didn't really have a chance to we sat around the campfire and we did, some work together. But I would love to.
You guys tell ghost stories?
Yeah, we did. Well, yeah, we told stories. I actually did. You know how he has that thing at the beginning of his shows where he says, "And just remember, most important tool is to wear your." I did the impression of him while we're all sitting around the campfire about wearing safety glasses. Everybody cracked up. They're like, "Oh my God, this guy's got balls."
He's fanboying out.
Yeah, of course. Norm, he deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves the adulation.
Yeah, New Yankee Workshop was before my time. But,
right.
But I used to watch it a lot, like going back maybe 10 years ago.
And the thing is, if you've seen, I'll just say it again, I've said it before, the reason I really admire Norm so much is because after meeting him, he's twice the man and twice the craftsman than he appears on TV, if that's even possible.
The real deal.
Underrated is as far as that goes. So go ahead, Joe.
If I could meet any famous woodworker, it's tough. I can't say I'd pick the same for each. Like maybe I would meet George Nakashima, an apprentice under Gustav Stickley, because I like Nakashima's very alluring in his style and his whole sort of outlook, but the woodworking is, I don't know. Then you look at like the conoid chairs and I'm backtracking on one of it's more simple and less like, I feel like there's less to learn because it's so simple. Whereas the Stickley stuff with all the exposed joinery and stuff, there's a lot of, there could be a lot to learn there. I don't know. It's a tough question, but I definitely like those two guys a lot. I like Kranoff too, but
yeah,
I'd say Kranoff and Nakashima are more closely related in terms of the design and the
their aesthetic,
philosophical kind of aspect. Whereas Stickley is more, because the philosophical aspect is removed because it's all about functionality. That's more down to brass tacks about the woodworking itself.
Right. Yeah, I like Stickley's point of view too. That everybody should be able to have good furniture.
Yeah.
And we kind of think that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are two interesting questions that are kind of the same thing, but it would be neat. It would be a lot of fun. I mean, we have a lot of fun just meeting the guests that we have here in the shop on the podcast because everybody's bringing something to the table in their own way, and we enjoy that aspect of it. We'll be getting back into that a little bit more in the weeks to come. Next week, going for vaccine number 2.
Oh, yeah. I had mine a week ago.
Yeah.
Actually, who the hell was it? Somebody asked me. See, I got in this habit of like screenshotting everything and then putting it into a specific folder in my phone with questions. And somebody asked, let me see if I can find it here. Sorry for the delay.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of questions I missed. Well, I'll read this one for now.
All right.
Just came into a pile of air-dried walnut that's been drying for 25 years. It's from 2 trees, insect-free, half is rough sawn and straight/wide. The other half looks like it was planed down years ago and it ended up warping really bad. Looks to be about 400 board feet total, maybe 200-ish that would be usable. Any suggestions on how I can save some of the gnarly stuff or use it for something interesting? It's good-looking wood, and it would be a shame to waste, but milling it down would give me toothpicks.
Give them
That's
our
from
address.
Alan Schaefer, Al About It, on Instagram.
Drop that stuff off.
Yeah, I mean, the gnarly stuff.
It is what it is now.
Yeah, you really don't have an option. It's either plane it down and make door panels out of it, or
shorter parts.
Yeah.
You can get more out of it.
I don't know how I missed all these questions.
You're getting the half-timers.
Yeah. We got anything else for Al with the walnut?
Al, man, just drop it by. There's nothing you can do with that
213 Wilson Avenue.
Yeah, just bring it over. We'll help you load it out of the truck, whatever you're going to bring it by. And
we'll make sure it ends up in a good home.
Yeah. I had something on my mind there for a minute and a half, but...
actually, yeah, this wasn't a question for the podcast. I was thinking this guy, Hunter, which is my son's name, messaged us about something, but it wasn't a...
Oh, it didn't have anything to do with the podcast.
No. But I had someone ask about... sorry, I can't... Oh, it was... Where is it? Oh, it was Jafet Hernandez. He was asking, if we're going to be doing any kind of meetup soon.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say that by the time I'm getting my shot next week, that's going to be about your party day for, as the medical professionals say, your immunity.
Until we get this double mutant strain that just popped up in India.
Yeah. Sometimes you ever get the feeling that we're never going to be rid of this way of life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been over a year. I guess we've come to acclimate as best we can.
Right.
But do you find yourself if you're watching a TV show or something like that and you see people just going up and shaking hands, does it seem a little bit weird?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy?
Or in like a movie or something, everybody's like on the subway.
Yeah.
You're like, this is weird.
Oh man, I'm not getting on that germ tube.
You're just like, man, we just used to all be congregated together with no masks
look at that.
on.
Spring break.
Yeah.
Well,
but yeah, anyway, we do want to do something, relatively soon, maybe early summer.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good, pencil it in kind of thing. Of course, we have to take everything step at a time.
Yeah. Capacities are low right now. And even, with vaccine, there's still a risk of, you can still spread it as someone.
There's always going to be small risk.
Yeah. So obviously we'll take all that into account, but yeah, we'd like to do something, a little get together.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Put some faces to names and.
Yeah.
All right. So, you want to go on to the last question we got?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I'm currently lofting out some full-size drawings for a big-ass built-in. I'm finding it annoying and tedious. However, it's forcing me to get a lot of things down on paper I might normally do in my head, as well as presenting me with questions I didn't yet know I had. I'm wondering if you guys ever do this. What do you think the possible benefits are, as well as drawbacks, if any? That's from Luke, Cal Builds on Instagram. Well, I think we got that answer.
Yeah, we don't typically draw anything out full scale unless it's like a singular part that needs to be made. And it has
templated or something.
A unique shape. But we draw everything in 3D, either in SketchUp or Fusion, which it's essentially the same thing. It's to scale. So that helps us work through all those problems that you're talking about that you don't necessarily think of when you're looking at something in 2D.
Right.
So I'd say the benefits are huge. That, like you said, you're running into problems here and you're thinking about them before you get to fabrication, which gives you time to A, think about it, and B, come up with a solution. So
yeah, sketching things out, whether it's pencil and paper, because that's the way we all did things back in the Stone Age. And when I started, I did everything 2D, pencil and paper. I did full working drawings that way. 3D drawing programs change everything. If you don't know them, invest the time, invest a small amount of money. A lot of these things, the basic
there's free versions
tool
for everything.
sets, are free. There's, as Jeff said, there's Fusion 360, which is a very full program. I mean, it does more than you probably ever need it to do.
Yeah, they design like you can draw an entire F1 car with all the moving parts.
Right, the engine and everything, hydraulics.
And do material testing and stress test.
And there's SketchUp, which is he's sort of like he was the main player in for a long time, and now
especially for makers.
Yeah, he's really trying to play catch up because
and now they have parametric design and they changed their logo.
Yes, they changed the logo to indicate that they're trying to play with the big boys.
Yeah.
But as far as just like building furniture, SketchUp will work for you, and it's easily attainable. It's free. It's everywhere. And like I learned, there are people out there, if you have trouble learning with YouTube videos and that sort of thing, you need somebody hands-on. I actually found somebody to teach it to me, and we just did a swap of labor.
You could probably just go on like Skillshare or Fiverr, something like that, and find somebody to just tutor you.
Exactly. It's not out of your reach. And like you said, this is where you discover all the things that you need to do to build the project. Like we typically design from the outside, and we say, okay, that looks right, because that's what we're selling to the client. We got to get the exterior dimensions.
Yeah, they don't care how it's put together.
Exactly. But then,
they don't want to know how the sausage is made.
Then they say, okay, now we got to go back and pull those things apart and go, how's this going to get put together?
Right.
And we have to factor in what's feasible, what do we have tooling-wise, how long is it going to take us to do it this way instead of that way? Is this way going to be strong? Do we have to take it apart and put it back together? So I think we hit on all of his points there.
Yeah, I don't really think there's any drawback.
None.
And as long as you're proficient, it doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, that I was in the position that you're in, where I did a lot of the figuring in my head when I worked by myself. But now there's Jeff and I. So we're sort of forced to explain things to one another. And that brings us back to our drawings. Yeah. So I can't shortcut it.
Oh, Rob, how big is this going to be? And you can't say, oh, I'm going to figure that out. Yeah. No, I need to know now because we got to keep working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have.
I got to build the cabinet first before we know how big the doors are going to be.
Right. And at first there was a little bit of that because it takes a while to adjust, but it's all part of the process. And
Yeah, you kept putting the numbers backwards too.
yeah, I told you I want length before width, and don't call that depth.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because the 23.5-inch by 34.5-inch, I'm not sure which one is which.
Is that the side of the cabinet or the top?
Doesn't take much for us to digress, does it?
No.
Oh, man. So, Luke, go for it, man. Find yourself some sort of program and dive in, feet first.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, Jeff's pretty good at Fusion, and I'm pretty good at SketchUp. We might be able to help you out, but like I said, almost every answer is on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
And they have big self-help communities in those programs.
Self-help.
Oh, self-help.
It's
Yeah.
pretty poignant.
Yeah, if the tough get going, the going get tough. How's that go?
What's that thing I said this morning? You're smart and strong, and you can do this.
You're good. And
You're strong, smart, and you got this.
Yeah. Just imagine the picture of a kitten hanging on a branch.
Yeah. Nonstop, I get these spam emails about our website. Do you want your website to be number one on Google?
No.
No, thanks. Well,
Yeah.
I started to cut off all these things at the end. And now I forget what the hell we talk about. Beer of the week, I guess, right?
Yeah. We're both
What'd
down.
you think of Milk Shaking It by Icarus Brewing?
I'm going to say that as flavor goes, last week we had that Smithwick. That thing was right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
This one, not so much, but I enjoyed it for its distinctiveness, I'll say.
Right.
It was a little bit, I don't know, is bitter the right word?
It is bitter, yeah.
But I usually like bitter tasting beers.
Maybe it's too hoppy for you?
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Yeah. I liked it. I didn't get a lot of vanilla. I definitely picked up on the lactose. Milkshake. I wouldn't go that far.
I'm not sure why they call it that.
It's like the lactose in there. Like it has a little bit of like a milky kind of flavor and the sweetness. A little bit sweet for my taste. And I didn't realize that it's 8.1%. A little boozy for me.
Yeah.
This, like, I drank like a third of it and I was like feeling a little bit of the booze.
We're lightweights here. We do not drink a lot.
No.
And we don't eat a lot during the day.
I did enough drinking in my younger years to make up for it. But yeah, it was good. I guess the wheat maybe in there is giving it some of that sweetness too. Heavily wheated and oated with lactose and vanilla.
I think it's the hoppiness because I remember when we were at Triumph that time. Remember when we had like those flights? I think hoppy beers are not my thing.
See, I love hops. That's that piney and sort of, you get the tropical fruits.
Yeah, that's probably it.
But yeah, you can smell the booze.
Yeah.
It's a little hot, in the back of the throat. You can taste the alcohol. But this, if you aged it for a couple years, would probably be really good because they mellow out. I have a beer at home. I have one left. It's a 22-ounce bottle. I brewed it on January 1st, 2012. It's a bourbon barrel stout.
Wow.
So it's a stout, and I aged it on oak staves with Maker's Mark bourbon.
When's that going to be beer of the week?
I don't know. I've been saving it for something. I don't know what, but it's, it's going
Our 50th show.
Going on 10 years since I brewed it.
That's what we'll save it for.
50th?
Yeah. It's only 20 more shows. 21.
Yeah, 5 months from now.
Yeah. Icarus. I like the name Icarus.
Yeah, Lakewood. We'll be going there to pick up some glass pretty soon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Lakewood. Watch out, though. They got some bad driving down there.
Yeah.
It's a bad place to be with a lot of glass.
Yeah.
So time to thank everybody.
Yeah. As always, the beer of the week and the tool of the week will be down in the description. If you want a American Craftsman Podcast glass, head over to the website. We got a couple of those left that we can send out.
You know what else I want to tell everybody to go to Reverb Nation.
Oh, yeah.
So the website's reverbnation.com, and my band, the New Soul Rebellion, posted up some songs. I'd like you to take a listen. If
I'll
you
put a link.
And, check it out and let me know what you think. That's what really looking for, some honest feedback there.
Yeah. And is there a spot on Reverb where they can leave a comment or send it to you on Instagram?
Yeah, they probably could Instagram me.
Which is what? Rob
_Greene Street.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to spread the word and see just what you guys think.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to say anything that's unsettling. Got a thick skin after all these years.
If you want to support the podcast directly, you can become one of our patrons. So every week we do an after show. So we'll sit down here for about a half hour or an hour and do a little
shoot the breeze.
Yeah, we talk about all kinds of stuff. We might talk about ancient aliens or
the Navy,
the new UFO manifesto that they're gonna drop.
Oh yeah.
And we might talk about some woodworking too. You get all kinds of dirt on people.
Oh
and,
yeah, this is where we let it fly.
Yeah, so if you're one of these 20 people here, you get to hear all the dirt.
You get to hear what we really think.
Yeah,
of a few people.
Yep. So if you'd like to join, link is in the description. We'd appreciate it if you did.
Yeah,
but no pressure if you don't want to. But it's nice, you get basically an hour of exclusive podcast a week.
Yeah, and keeps us going.
Yeah,
because we lose half a day here. It does help supplement to some small degree.
Yeah, I'm at home until 7-8 o'clock getting everything put together.
Jeff usually texts me like 8:30. He's like,
what's up?
Just finished.
If it's a long one, forget about it. I got to compress audio files and split.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank our gold tier patrons. Speaking of Patreon, David Murphy, Manny Sirianni, Dustin Fayer, Adam Pothast, and David Shoemaker. Damn it.
Shoemaker.
It's going to take me a while.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Beats me.
Because I probably poisoned your mind.
We went a couple weeks before we found out that it was Shoemaker.
My wife still corrects me when I the pronunciation of her name. We've been married for 20 years.
I don't even know what it is anymore. I don't even know. Andrea?
Yeah, she
I'm going to say
Andrea.
I'm going to say Andrea.
But I call her Andrea, and she corrects me. She's like, "Why can't you?" It's been 20 years.
I think my wife said it every possible way when we were over here a couple weeks ago. That's like the plumber, Mario. She's calling him Mario. Every time it's different. Like, just pick one. It's probably Mario. Nobody says Mario.
Not in New Jersey.
No, I went to school with kids that were from Italy.
Yeah.
And he was Mario Ingato, not Mario.
Just when he says it, it sounds different.
Yeah.
He said, Mario.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week for
Be well. Take care.
Episode 30.